Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Evolution Podcast, series number one, where we're meeting with owners of coaching and training small and medium businesses to discuss evolving business and client impact in the era of AI. Today, we have Dana DeVito with us. Dana is the owner of multiple franchises in Arizona, and he is the COO and an executive coach at Elite Performance Associates, which is a national consulting and executive coaching firm that's 15 years in the making. Welcome, Dana. Thanks for being here. And please tell us a bit more about your journey to becoming CEO or COO rather of Elite Performance Associates and a little bit about what EPA does to drive value for its clients.
Yeah, boy, that's a loaded question. I don't know if you were prepared for the answer that's to come, but
We're ready for it.
with
We're ready. Sometimes this
yeah,
answer is like 5 to 10 minutes for people. That's fine. This is your opportunity to tell us who you are and what you do.
yeah. First, I want to say you made me sound old. I'm like, holy smokes, that's been a process. So I've owned my own businesses for about 22 years now, and for about 10, I was simply doing that. I was growing, went from 3 units to 5 units, and working on restaurants and coffee shops, but realizing that I wasn't happy with just doing the service, that type of business. And what I really enjoyed doing was growing my staff and building young individuals through the process of starting in the front level position, getting their skill sets up. So they were managing $1 million businesses for me. And that was awesome because we got to talk through the P&L, COGS, labor costs, all that stuff. And from that, another individual who became a good friend of mine in the community asked if I would help him build his business and prepare it for sale as he was looking to exit. So he was in the geotechnical industry. So it was completely different from what I had been comfortable and confident in. But I was able to work with him for a few years, and he was he's a really good friend of mine, super smart, really talented. And working alongside him, we were ultimately able to sell his business, get him out of the market and industry, which was great. And then the day after we sold it, I got another phone call from another business owner in the area asking if I would help them out scale and grow their business. And so it really became this referral. I'd never intended to get into the coaching and consulting industry, but just segued over and over again until about 7 or 8 years into that, individual journey of mine. I met up with now my business partner, Dave Richards, and we were at a team dinner for our kids' soccer team. And he introduced himself as a business coach and consultant. I was like, hey, that's what I do. Hey, we should chat. And probably about 6 months later, we decided to combine together, and his branding was Elite Performance Associates. So I brought my all my business under his shingle, and we've been running ever since. So yeah, that's the nuts and bolts of it.
Great. Yeah, yeah. And I guess tell us a little bit more, for our listeners out there about what specifically Elite Performance Associates does. I know like you guys have both a consulting side and a coaching side. If you could elaborate a little more on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah, great question. So we've been exclusively referral based for almost 15 years now. From that, what we approach businesses one of two ways. Uh, Either immediately at the executive coaching level, where a CEO, founder, or owner is looking for somebody to walk alongside them as they're trying to extricate themselves from the daily operations. And they know they need somebody to help them establish clarity and vision and then continue to separate them by giving them boundaries and accountability from that. And there's a lot of detail and depth to that. Or we're brought into an organization that is looking to scale and grow and take it from what's made them successful and help them identify what next levels or goals are, and then how to build strategies and tactics to frame that out for them. And so we work at every level from the financial side to the operations side to succession planning. We've helped multiple organizations walk through each levels of those. And again, I would say more often than not, we come in as a consultant and then we start to delve into that coaching side, and we get sticky with companies. And I think it's a testament to Dave and my background. We both have operated our own businesses. And so we know what having skin in the game is. And so we tend to walk alongside those same owners and founders for a long time. had clients for over 10 years. And we've seen, it's like almost having a family member at that point. You see them go through all these growth phases and changes, and it's really rewarding to walk alongside them and really honoring. I take it as a great responsibility. Their success is my success. It's never about me. It's really how do we help them achieve what their aspirations are and what their visions is, and that I think for Dave and I, we share at a very deep level. The most important component for us is being of service to others. It is
Mhm.
really little about us.
Yeah. No, it's so interesting how your story was just like running your own businesses and then ultimately getting it to a point where you're able to run more by helping people run your businesses. And now you're like, wait, I'm a people developer, and that's
Yeah,
what I'm passionate about. So it's great to see that evolution, and maybe someday that something like that will come to me. But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm sure it will.
mindset that you have right now for me, right? Just focus on the businesses that I want to run, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens from there. And clearly, there's a lot that can come of it. So great hearing what you guys are up to. I know that you guys are at a point now where you're thinking about kind of two things. One, how do we operate in a state where we're kind of at capacity? But then two, you also shared that you guys are thinking about specializing a little bit more in the real estate and mortgage market.
Mhm.
How have you guys been thinking about like new client needs, and addressing your clients, given that you're at capacity, but also want to adjust your portfolio a bit?
Ethan, you asked the toughest questions. Gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's great.
Tough
It's what
questions,
we're
the best answers.
yeah. We're working through it. So we're chewing on it. And so it's going to be a little bit of a messy answer. So I apologize for that
That's
out of
okay.
the gate.
Okay.
Um, we've my business partner came from the lending and financial market. He spent about 25 years in that, so he had a really good network, a strong network when he decided to go off and start his coaching business. And from that, we've really been able to find a lot of success with our clientele. They've had sometimes exponential growth, and as we've been able to walk alongside them and help them really grow their businesses, the real estate industry in particular is a unique beast, right? They can have large teams, but you're going to have 90% of those teams. If you got 200 agents working underneath you, they're all 1099 contract workers, and
Yep.
your W-2 team may be really small of 5, 10, 15 individuals. And then how do we scale and grow that and manage that like a traditional business? How do we put legs to it that may go into legacy work, right? And so that's some of the framework that we've been able to establish over these past years, is looking at it from a lens where I'm a very traditional business, right? All my employees are W-2'd, and we
Hmm.
walk that path. And then my business partner Dave, again, also. So but he's got a firmer understanding of that industry. And so how do we blend those two together and create a vision and a mechanism in which we can help teams uh, grow into that legacy style business? So as we formalize that framework, we now have it repeatable and deployable at scale. Uh, but to that end, we need some help to do that. We've found some of our clients had hit extraordinary numbers in these last couple of years, and so we want to help others do that too, because that's exciting. It's like, gosh, we got this cool mechanism. How do we share
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Uh, and so what we're currently in exploring internally, and starting to put feelers out externally, is how do we find like-minded individuals, people that care more for others than their own accolades, because that's the heart upon which we need, and then marry that to a skill set, the ability to take systems, communicate well, and walk alongside others until we find the success that they're striving for. I mean, that's a really, I wouldn't say it's unique, but it is a demanding requirement. And so that's what we're kind of chewing through, is how do we identify, how do we find, and then really integrate them quickly and establish them well in our system and our company so that we can go out and serve others better.
So what I'm hearing is you guys are looking to bring on new staff. You're at that level of
Yes.
full.
Yeah, we're at
So
that level of full for sure.
hiring is top of mind right now,
Yeah.
which to me means productivity is top of mind, right? So
Yeah.
mixture of how do we become as effective and and as efficient as possible as individual employees, but then how do we bring on more individual employees that are going to fit the mold and the culture that we've created, so that we're able to continue to deliver on this framework of success that we've built the foundation for.
Yeah, that's exactly well put. Yeah. Well, I could have said all that in 15 seconds. Thanks. Just like you did.
Uh,
I should have.
no, no, no. I mean,
Well,
it was definitely like
great
a
way to
loaded.
put it.
It was one of the more loaded questions, but I just felt like it had to be like that two-part one together. So I was just like, we'll see what Dana does with it. Um,
Yeah.
but no, no, that's fantastic, and really exciting, for you guys. Am I understanding right then that you guys think that you're at a position where, because of the connections that your business partner already had, like, and the referral network that you guys have obviously had so much success with so far,
Mhm.
um, are you confident that once you just increase your team size, you're able to go out and get these clients? Or do you think that it's a build team and then undergo a developed and perhaps evolved client acquisition process? What are you thinking there?
Well, right now we've had to put the slow roll on requests for our services. So
Yeah.
we're at that tipping point. We weren't expecting it. It came a little bit more rapidly than we had anticipated. We've been working this work for, I don't know, 8 to 10 months, kind of processing through what that would look like. And this spring has been we've been real blessed with it. People have been knocking on our doors, and the referrals from our current clients have been helping us out. Obviously, that's how we've lived for a long time, but it's created a demand for us that we can't, in good conscience, fulfill at 100% capacity, right? So we do absolutely need to bring others on board to help us out with that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
yeah,
And I guess, as you think about what's keeping you guys at capacity, aside from the fact that, you have a bunch of clients that want your services and everything is going so well, are there any things that stand out to you as particular bottlenecks? Right. We talked a lot about AI and how it's like drinking through a firing hose right
yeah.
now, right? But it's, I think, how you worded it. And you said that you and your clients both feel that same way. So the way that I'm seeing it is, there is this potential opportunity to increase efficiency and build AI both into the delivery of services, but also into the workflows that you guys are currently having right now. What are maybe some of the main things that you think are taking up everyone's time that could maybe be rethought in order to have those new
Mhm.
employees you bring on be as efficient as possible, as well as the existing employee base?
Yeah, part of being a more of a boutique consulting and coaching firm is we do custom work with everybody. We have our principles, and Dave and I have we were unique, I think, in the fact that we came to the table sharing a lot of those from different paths through our careers, but we really have a lot of unifying beliefs and structures in place. Maybe the language is a little bit different, but we've come together really well. Uh, but because we've done custom work in every client, that has been a prohibitive factor for us. And so this is where I see AI really helping us out. And this is what I spend a lot of my non-client facing time doing, is taking these principles, systematizing them a little bit more, making the principles the anchors or the pillars upon which we build, and then building leveraging AI to help us build a tool and interface that will allow us some customization, but really build off the foundations that we've established. So it's been a wonderful asset these last couple of years to optimize that, because it would be, prior to that, it was something that I would spend my late nights, pen and paper kind of drawing out and then typing up myself and working through, and Dave would be doing it on the other side, and we'd share notes and come together. And so this is really it it affords me taking what's in my brain, taking how I want to customize it, putting it in into something that I can refine and use to serve my clients better. So that's how I've been leveraging it, and I think it's been really helpful. And in turn, that's going to make my training of anybody that we bring in so much more effective, so much
Mhm.
faster, because it's formalized now. I've got it all built, and then I can kind of walk them through it, and then teach them their own ways to refine and modify as needed.
Gotcha. So you've got it. Would you say you have it at a point now where it is the frameworks that are client facing that you guys use, the playbooks for execution, and like almost like the training materials for bringing on new people, like, and all of that's ready to go thanks to AI and Dana putting in the time and work for 2.5 years.
Yeah. Except for the training playbooks. I'm about 30 to 40% into that. Um, it I Ethan, I tend to be,
Fantastic.
what's that?
I said that's fantastic. Like that,
Uh,
all of the rest of it is already consolidated because obviously, like the
yeah,
training materials come out of like they flow
yep,
backwards from the
that's right.
frameworks and the ways of working and the execution playbook. So it,
Yeah. I think
working
that
back into
the difficulty that I find with that internally training is that there's a dynamic thoughtfulness that you have to have as the consultant. There's an interpretation there because not every business you go into is using maybe there's always a cultural nuance that bleeds into everything. And so we've got some terms that are pretty universal, but what they mean at that practical level in every business has some variance and relationship associated with it. And so that teaching a young consultant to come in and recognize that there's a relational portion and a descriptive and interpretive portion that has to happen from the frameworks. So we've got this system in place. We know how to do it, but how do I take from the CEO down to senior leadership, interpret vision that we've discussed and really the nuance of the strategy that we're building and then help relate that in the tactical side to the operations of the floor level personnel. And so there's a lot of interpretation and analysis that has to go on, and that language is really dynamic to almost every business.
got it, got it. Like I'm sure in your head you're describing like very like pinpointed examples of like what this
Sure.
nuance looks like. So I'm only able to understand it like theoretically, but
Mhm.
I totally understand theoretically what you're talking about, right? It's not
Yeah.
just okay, these are like the five pillars that we have for how we approach a problem like this, and this is how we go and execute on it. But then there's like the actual language that's used there, whether it's, how we interact with this type of client and there's different people at different levels that we need to create a relationship this way, or this is the actual on the ground execution side of our recommendation, right? It's there's a lot of language that needs to be interpreted in a way that's going to resonate with the culture of those clients, and that
That's
is
it.
kind of on a case by case basis.
Yeah. In
Yeah.
that and again, because our heart we work with small to mid-sized businesses, and our heart is really to be of service. You know, there we have to go where they're at. I think of it like, teaching a child to tie their shoes. They you have to go get down on your hands and knees, look at them eye to eye, belly to belly, walk them through the process and
Hmm.
interpret for the child, like, what is a lace? What's the shoe? Teach them how to do it, and then you let them run away, and then they're gonna screw it all up. And we have to be ready for that. And then, how do we come up with the next narrative to
The
share the
double knot.
commu Yeah, the right yeah, exactly. Like, what it's so this that I've I've seen a lot of, individuals go in, "I've got my system. it's like I'm the hammer and everything's a nail. I'm gonna go fix it." And that's not our system. That's not our method. We've got these principles. We've systematized it so that we can repeat it. Results are repeatable, and but but the but the relationship is the lifeblood of everything that we do, and
Mm,
it's what keeps us sticky with the organizations. It keeps us sticky with the people that are involved. I mean, I tell everybody that I work with is I don't care what we do, what widget we make, what service we provide. We're a people based business, and
mhm.
we've got to do honor to that in every decision we make. How do we honor that distinction?
Yeah, it's so human and pure. I love it, and it's obviously hard to teach. Also, right? Like you can
Yeah,
have somebody go and read a slide, sure, like, and it can explain how you view the people approach, but that's just not gonna. You have to live it and feel it to
yeah.
actually get it, action it. So, that's really yeah. I see the challenge there. I think that percentage of the training manual is going to definitely take some time and
Yeah,
thought. But you got it.
you know,
You got it.
oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I think the hardest thing, if I could just highlight this, is we're advisors, right? When we were brought in, we are brought in as an advisors, and in an advisory role, at some point, we have to be comfortable with being told no. Your idea isn't what we're going to be doing. We don't agree with you. And that's okay. But if you put in all this hard work, you put in all this analysis, you put in all this presentation, you put in all this care for their to be of service to your client, and then to be told no, it's like, oh, it's a kick in the gut. You're like, holy smokes, is that okay? And I mean, how do I respond? What's my
Yeah.
next step? And that I think is really challenging. We can talk about it in the theoretical, we can talk about it in the intellectual, but when you're face to face with a C-suite individual that tells you, "Yeah, it's a great idea, but I'm not gonna do it." That's hard.
And you can
It's a
focus
kick
on
to the
the
butt.
"that's a great idea" part, focus on the
Yeah,
start of
for
that
sure.
sentence a little bit. At least he said that, or maybe that's what Dana was hoping that he says to him,
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's funny.
You're like, "Oh, shoot, he actually didn't say that. I was just hoping that was true."
Yeah, right, yeah, that's my mental, "No, no, I'm still good." Yeah.
No,
Um,
yeah, I've definitely gotten both types of feedback, and yeah, that's such a hard one, especially for younger, like more junior level people. I'm sure it's
mhm,
not the holistic like plan and proposal that's being sold. Maybe it's like
sure.
something
No.
on one work stream, but at every level, you have to be able to handle things like that. While the way that you handle it, still maintaining the sentiment of a relationship is building, right? Like even though
Sure.
they said no to whatever that thing was, that can't be then a you know a new stream has broken off from the relationship that is now like
Mhm.
detracting from it. It has to
That's right.
still be constructive. So that's definitely an important skill, and it's gonna be a process to fish that out and find the people that
Uh-huh.
that understand and resonate with that. I guess one other thing, I'm going back so far. I meant to ask this
Sure.
question, but then the topics keep flowing.
Yeah,
You said something about meeting clients where they're at,
yeah.
and I guess in terms of AI, that what that really means, I feel like today is there's just change that is happening on a, I
Mhm.
want to say a daily basis, but at this point it's like every 12 hours, and it's moving
Yeah.
way too fast. And so I guess I'm curious how you guys have been handling, both from like a time commitment perspective, but also a consulting delivery perspective, clients that are coming to you and saying, hey, what do we do with this whole AI thing? Right. Because
Mhm.
you're still focusing on building it out for yourself and making
Yeah.
your very unique use case. So, building your internal systems is so much different from consulting on it externally. Curious where people are wanting you to meet them at.
Yeah. Yeah, there's every client is a little bit different, and they've all got different perspectives, but to highlight what you just said, in most of the cases, there's this sense of overwhelm and that we're already too late because the changes are happening so rapidly. And I think the what I continue to draw back to as AI in at least for the clients that we've got right now, AI is not the thing that we're doing as business. It's a tool to support
Yeah.
and facilitate our actual business. But because of the sheer volume of AI news that's coming out and all these things that it's able to do now, it's it's easy for it to be distracting. Like, "Oh, I gotta go do this. I gotta go get better at it. I gotta make it part of our business." And so some of it is reeling our clients back and saying, "No, no, no. We gotta remember that's not actually what we're selling. That's not the service we're providing. That's not the widget that we're making. That's not the thing for us." And so it's distributing it, leveraging it and distributing it tactically and making sure that it's really in alignment with the strategy and goals that we've established as an organization. So um that it's a long-winded answer of saying there's not a perfect, here's AI on a platter for you. But at the end of the day, sometimes maybe more often than not, we're trying to protect our clients
Yeah.
more than we are trying to push them.
I think I'm understanding that from the coaching perspective, but I guess I'm
Mhm.
curious on the consulting delivery perspective, right? Like
Yeah.
they're getting this excess of news, and you're saying, okay, okay, hold on. What's important is to sift through this and figure out where it can actually drive value for our business. AI is not our business; it is not our product. It is an
Mhm.
enabler for our execution, right?
That's right.
So I guess, has that become a pressing need of your clients? And are you guys building in the same way that you're building out existing frameworks and playbooks for the stuff that you've been doing? Like, how is AI now clicking into that? Is it's a separate thing, or does it lie within the existing things you're already doing?
There are components. especially on reporting and analysis side. It really it does such a good job of the heavy lifting in that, and gives us data that becomes operationalized. We can make good decisions weekly, monthly, quarterly, and on. So that's really good. We've actually hired on an individual to come support us on that tech side.
Mhm.
I'm leery. I come from IT decades ago, and the thing that I become leery of is this, not the rollout, but the support side of it. What happens once we bring it to market and we start to ingratiate ourselves to the clientele and they become dependent upon us? How willing are we to provide that service for them 5,
Mhm.
10, 15 years down the line if we're really heavily integrated in their ecosystem? And I'm that's not my priority.
Yeah.
Same thing I look at with
Answer.
my so thanks. Yeah. So just trying to be careful of AI is not the thing for us either.
It's
Yeah.
admirable that you guys are recognizing this is not a field that we want to play in necessarily, at least for the time being. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's that I would say it's likely because of the size of our clientele, and we do deal almost exclusively with small to mid-sized companies, and so there's some agility there that we can rely on. They make decisions quick. We can chase after things aggressively and fast without steering a big ship and taking months, years, or decades to really come into alignment with the next phase. So that working with small clients, I love because we can be so responsive to industry shifts, and I think that affords us the opportunity not to have to shoulder the burden of um, providing AI solutions as an EPA product. So,
Yeah. 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 No, it makes a lot of sense. I guess I'm still curious though, like you're recognizing the capability
mhm,
for your company to develop the capability and the enablement that comes from it internally, right? And ultimately, you're building the foundation for faster execution and more effective delivery, like for your clients, right? Well, in theory, that same logic applies to any of the work streams that they're doing to executing on the recommendations you provide them. And so, like, I guess it's almost like how does it not the same way that like they have computers now and like when computers came out like they had to make sure to have computers, right? Like
yeah.
is there any fear of the you talked about agility, right? It's like
Mhm,
AI is very good at enabling additional agility because of the speed that it generates. So
yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm
Yeah.
curious if you're thinking about how it might need to become not part of the like we're going to go and build as EPA a product that we're going to license to them. Not necessarily that, but maybe like,
Yeah.
hey, like these are some things that like we're seeing as great strategies for building a foundation for accelerated execution. For example, the fact that you on your own built out these frameworks and playbooks, right? Is there any thought of that and like staying away from the we're going to go do a build for you approach?
Yeah. No, great question, and absolutely, I think you hit the nail on the head. We have to be well informed of the industry, the trends behind it, and then the organizations within those uh, different verticals that are supporting those industries. And so that's big on our list is how do we quickly educate ourselves on what's being provided and the services that are out there, and then their efficacy. Like, are they any good? Are they built on a platform that has legs and that will be durable? As we see with companies like Anthropic and OpenAI, they're taking note of markets and challenging things that were essentially wrappers of their models and eating them up. We saw uh, OpenClaw was one of them. You know, OpenAI bought those, right? So, or OpenClaw, right? Is that what I said? Um, and then Anthropic starting to do that internally now with the services that they're providing. Uh,
Yeah.
so we really, and that's some of the dialogues that we have with ownership as well is what are tools that can be functional that won't have the rug pulled out if we're going to build supporting our vertical, then we got to make sure that there's some legs there, and that's all behooves us to stay informed and educated, and it's challenging because you said it so well before, it's drinking from a fire hose, man. dude, there's so much out there every single day, and with every,
Yeah,
uh, model and brand that's coming out, they're all challenging each other, and, you'll see the new, uh, codecs come out to do do against Claude Code, and then the token issues that we've got going, and so trying to navigate with different routers on which LLM are we using to support the coding, tools that we're using, and how do we navigate that all well, because the costs are becoming so they
yeah.
rapidly scale, and it anyways, I can go down it nerd out on it all the time, but it's like,
Oh yeah,
how do we and then how do we do that? Like, I've got a hospitality client. How do I take that? They've got hospitality brands. How do I take that where we're really customer in relational building and we're just providing services? How do we interpret that for them and give them tools that are going to be effective without having them just be buried in worry, fear, and apathy? So, yeah, it's
yeah.
challenging.
Indeed, indeed. Well, I think you guys are positioned to navigate it, and at least you've done the most important first step, which is we got to figure this out for ourselves first, right? You can't, if you're in an airplane and it's going down, you got to put on your oxygen mask
I
before anyone around you. So
love
you
that
guys have your
metaphor.
or mask on, almost. It
Mhm.
sounds like
Working at it. Yeah.
60% of the way to go on the training side, but everything else is already done. So
Yeah.
you're almost there, which is great to hear. I guess one kind of final question here is like, love to get a feel for where people are in terms of their 12-month vision. And it sounds like one of the main things that's in the way of the 12-month vision is the hiring side. I
Mhm.
guess anything, if you had to try to pinpoint like one other problem that you would love to magically like get fixed on on the shorter term side so that you could achieve that 12-month vision, what would that problem be?
Oh, that's a great question. We have, um, oh man, I'm so focused on the idea of uh, personnel. I
Mm.
think going in line with that. I know we've talked about the hiring on more consultants for that, but I think really uh, finding administrative staff and how do we best sort that with responsibilities and to build. Because I love having my hands in so many things, uh, but doing and being participant in a lot of the research, in the creation of stuff, and how much do I hand away and delegate out, and
Mm.
s- um, I guess the process is I will need to have that happen. When do I do that? I've got some assistants right now. They're all specialized though, and so bringing in kind of the next it's a I guess creating more stratification and internal organization, and building a larger architecture of administrative staff for us. That's probably the biggest. We've always run lean and mean. We've got an internal staff of 7, and do we need to expand that and how to define roles and without creating my focus to be internal management.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's the weird middle ground right now is that scaling process.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. The model is it's not just we need more like lower level consultants. It's like we need to like
Yeah,
duplicate Dana kind of thing, right? Like
yeah,
there's a lot of higher level things that are going on as well that
mm,
are not just executing on immediate client needs.
yeah,
That the plate of what you want to execute on is maybe rather piled up, for lack of better word.
yeah. And I've got a great team right now, but they're at capacity, so I need to see um, where else can I and how do we integrate them well into the team. So yeah,
Gotcha, gotcha. Well,
yeah.
sounds like an interesting challenge. I'm sure you guys
It
are
is.
gonna
Yeah,
keep pushing
it's
through
fun.
and solve it. Um, you seem like excited and genuinely passionate about figuring it all out. So
Oh, I love it. I love solving problems. It's just the puzzle pieces are there, and we just got to figure out how to do it. So.
Exactly.
Yep.
One day at a time. One day at a time.
Yep.
Well, Dana, it's been great having you here. I
Thank
guess
you.
just one last thing we like to supply our listeners with where they can go to learn more about you and about the business as well, or the multiple businesses in your case, if they
Yeah.
want to go and find out more about you and Elite Performance Associates. Where should they go?
Sure. ElitePerformanceAssociates.com is our website. That'll give you kind of a list of everything we're doing. I can be found on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way to reach out and communicate with me. It's Dana DeVito. And then I'm going to be releasing a book, if you don't mind me saying that, later this year. And the website for that is nowhiringbook.com. And that's another way to meet me.
All right, fantastic. Well, Dana, thank you again so much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ethan. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast.
If today's conversation resonated with you and you're looking to learn how business leaders are driving value using AI, make sure to hit subscribe. Feel free to check out our other episodes. And I've also left my LinkedIn in the description below, so you're welcome to connect, and I will see you next time.